All right, so a colleague just gave me the Norwegian Arctic field rations. I can't wait to jump into it. It sounds fascinating. This is cod and creamy curry sauce, so that's definitely going to be new for me. And I appreciate the gift. It was just fantastic stuff. I'll definitely have to try that in my next outing. I think this gives rise to a lot of the questions we receive in the the ionosphere, the blogosphere, the internet, when we talk about One Shepherd Leadership Institute running FTX simulations, when S&S Training Solutions and Klein Machining run similar miles-based solutions. Polaris is doing miles, Simex with those other two aforementioned companies, and they're running these as, frankly, they're running them as like high adventure entertainment, whereas One Shepherd does this for learning, under the auspice of learning. And I don't mean to discount learning. In fact, I think that's exactly what it gets down to. But on the surface of it, you can see why people say, oh, how nice for you. You're playing Army. Well, yes, as a matter of fact, we are. I'm Dr. Christopher Larsen, a veteran of the U.S. Army Infantry, founder of One Shepherd Leadership Institute, and author of Small Unit Tactical Doctrine. Okay, we're playing Army. We are playing war games. That term itself probably deserves a little bit of closer study. To my knowledge, it was von Helmut, Moltke, Helmut von Moltke, and his son in the Prussian military of the 1800s, thereafter the Napoleonic Wars, who really started to standardize, codify tabletop wargaming as a means of teaching staff officers and command teams how to understand the battle space, how to understand warfare. While it certainly had structure, that is the game, it was turn-based, it was definitely a thought exercise, and they didn't shy away from calling it exactly what it is, Spiele, play, Kriegsspiele. This is a very serious military. It's a very serious martial tradition. It's very serious education. Why wouldn't they call it something else? Like our tendency here in America to say, well, we must take ourselves serious, you see. We must have academic rigor to it. How dare you use the word play? Play is a four-letter word. Well, the Army thinks fun is a four-letter word too. So, nonetheless, play. And so when people in YouTube land look and see a bunch of civilians dressing up as warriors and going out and playing shoot 'em up, it's, oh, isn't that quaint? Oh, let's pat all the kids on the head. They're playing Army. Yeah, we are. And let me cut to the chase. Let me go ahead and put this right out here. It's fun. That's why we're doing it. So, okay, so it's fun. We could just end the conversation there. But there's way more to be said about that. Let's go with Isabel Benka, and I hope I don't butcher the woman's name, but I've kind of been a fan of hers since I saw her on her TED Talk many years ago, talking about her study of bonobo apes and her study of how they played. And what that meant, that primates were actively seeking opportunities to play, and how that translated to us, humans, as primates. Why did they go in there and play? And from some of her work, as well as many others, we get an emergent wild play theory. What is that for humans? Human, phenomenon. And it's where humans actively, as animals, we actively seek, at all ages, from basically 1-year-olds up to 99 years of age. We're actively seeking games. We're actively seeking play. It's amazing because the commonality within that, and within that playing, is to intentionally set ourselves at a disadvantage and then try to work out the problem and come out on top of that, to come out with a successful solution. Let me say that again. We're actively seeking to put ourselves in a position of disadvantage with an authentic problem to solve, so that we solve that problem and come out on top. That is some deep level problem solving, learning through problem solving, which itself is a learning theory, right? PBL, problem-based learning. Play allows us to get to the deepest and most innovative depths of that problem-based learning. David Jonasson describes this as ill-defined context in which we have ill-structured problems. Ill-defined context, ill-structured problems within the play. And why do we do that? Well, of course we're looking for novel solutions. No problem to problems. We're looking for emergent solutions to problems. We will recognize that. No, it's not necessarily data-driven. It's more of our own experiential learning. That is our Rolodex of our experiences personally that we can seek solutions and solution sets for. But I think one of the most convincing things that's emerged from wild play theory is that humans in wild play, through wild play, learn not only to assess risk, but then to mitigate it. And they do this in ways that no blocked traditional learning format serves. Not in elementary school, not in the halls of academia and the ivory towers of, Ivy League schools. Not in the United States Army or Marine Corps or Navy or Air Force. Not in any profession. Not in any academic situation are we allowed and afforded the opportunity to learn at this depth. And yet we do it. We actively seek it. Gaming is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Not just video gaming, tabletop gaming, board games, you name it. It's an enormous billion-dollar industry. And the funny thing about wild play theory and many of the supporting theories that come out of it is they're saying, please, for the love of God, stop defining the problem, stop defining the context, give us ill-defined context and ill-structured problems that we can go seek out the solutions for ourselves, that we can put ourselves at disadvantages. Because when you define all that for us, well, this is serious, rigorous gaming, and it's fascinating that the military is figuring out, there's several articles, and I'm sorry, I should have had that ready in my pocket there to tell you the article I just read last week by a military gaming expert who said, stop building bad games. And the more robust and realistic games are some of the absolute worst. They're the least enjoyable, they're the least repeatable, they're the least learning depth. And it's because you wanted to measure everything. You think, well, every human experience can be defined as a dependent variable or an independent variable, and we can measure it. Hogwash. That's horrifying. It wouldn't even matter if it's true. It's begging the question. It's beyond the point. We don't want to measure that. We want to learn. And the joy of having fun in a game is its own intrinsic reward. I mean, we can get right down to the synaptic cleft and say, well, what are the hormones? You know, the acetylcholins being fired across that neural pathways. What are the oxytocins release into our brains and the good euphoric feelings we get? That's all true. And that's what we get through play, not through study, not through rigorous academia. Hogwash. Just absolute crap. Look, through play, we put ourselves at disadvantages so that we can assess risks, mitigate risk, run a diagnostic, and then come up with novel solutions that eventually over time become emergent solutions for us. We do this in seconds inside of a computer-based game or a board game or a word game that we're playing charades with each other while having drinks. The fact is, human activity is learning, and the deepest level of learning comes through play. You only achieve mastery through play. Now let me back that up and say, I'm not just talking mastery of skateboards or figure skating or Olympic sports. No, far beyond that. I'm saying if you're a neurosurgeon, a brain surgeon, you got there because you achieved mastery, and you did it one way or another through play. If you're a rocket scientist, well, it's not rocket science. Yes, it is. And the way to get there is through play. Oh, well, he means engagement and active experimentation. You can put all the academic words you want to it, buddy. You were playing. You were playing a game. So why should we be ashamed of playing Army when you realize that mastery, the only path to mastery, is through play? We're playing Army. I'm going to try a Norwegian Arctic field ration. Thanks. Bye.